Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschool Autism Life. My name is Jamie. Today's video, I wanted to talk about Darrion's nighttime routine, the changes that have been made. I've made a couple of comments in previous videos and I thought I should be a little bit more clear. And I've been on this whole journey of sharing the more hard things because I don't want to be in this space being a little bit tone deaf about saying, yes, there's hard days, but look at all the joy and peace and whatever. I'm still talking about that. I'm still really encouraging all of that, but I also am very aware that it's really important to share the more difficult things and not just the glossy version of, because I don't mean to be disingenuous when I do that. I'm literally wanting to be that space of encouragement and yeah, just an encouraging place because I recognize. So, just as an example, I usually do my videos in front of a painting and you don't see the piles of messes, or I'm in my porch area and there are cracks in my windowsills that I haven't gotten to, and it's not always glossy and shiny and lovely, and I don't always have my hair in perfect shape. We were rained on today, and so my hair got like whatever. My makeup's wearing off and stuff like that. There's just regular, normal, itty gritty, bitty life that happens. It's homeschool autism life, right? So in the summertime, since Darrion was very little, he has struggled in this time because we live in the northern hemisphere, which means the curvature of the earth is putting a little bit of pressure on the routine. The routine is it's dark when we eat supper. No, not 90, probably 80% of our year by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we're eating supper around 7. It's dark outside. It always is dark outside. And it was always a little bit of a struggle for him. But this year, this is the first year where he has not adjusted at all, not even a little bit. And completely unwilling, and not in a I'm being a naughty boy kind of way, but in a this is the way it is and has to be, or I have a very anxious reaction and I lose it on whoever is trying to feed me because they're mean and evil. And it's not a malicious intent. It is a very much, we're wrecking things and it's causing him to have a huge struggle. And I worked for about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks to try and go, okay, instead of the lightness in the sky or the twilight on the horizon, because yes, it's that bad, I was going, okay, let's look at the calendar, at the time, and I start making your food at 8 and you eat at 9. And I was really doing that because my parents were coming to look after my kids while Colin and I went away. And I really, 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 really didn't want this to be something that they had to deal with. And it became clear after those 2-3 weeks that I tried that it wasn't working. He was not adjusting. He was completely unwilling to adjust to it. And I keep saying unwillingly like it was a choice. It's not. And the big part of this, and I'm going to watch my videos again to make sure that I'm not repeating myself, but when you have a PDA child with a profile of anxiety, these things that are hard nose, these things that are panic-inducing, anxiety-driven, you as a parent have to make the decision and the choice to decide whether you're going to say, this is the hill I'm going to die on, and it doesn't matter the consequences to you, how it's affecting you, or you as the adult get to adjust to them. And after the 2 3 weeks of trying to be like, it's okay, I get it, it's so frustrating when the sun and the curvature of the earth are causing you issues, right? But it was one of those things where I was like, his level of discomfort and dysregulation, and then that would affect the days after and how he would respond to just regular normal things. It was becoming very obvious to me and my husband that this was a no-fly zone. We couldn't keep doing that, which is why Leanne, my stepmother, got the call. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to come do this? Um, so the reason why I share this is because, for all of the years of his life, I have known this time in the year has always kind of rubbed him the wrong way, but it was never as bad as it has been this year. And I share this partly as a warning, because you think, okay, we've got things pretty covered, like pretty straightforward and simple. And then you're surprised later. Hi. You're surprised later that it's changed, right? But also, our kids are living, breathing organisms who need to adjust, who need to change, who have different reactions to different stimulus. And as much as an autistic child or adult are very sticklers for their routines and everything needs to be the same, they might surprise you. And you, as the caregiver, need to be able to rise to the occasion, there we go, and be able to adjust. Now, is it easy? No, 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 because we're feeding him at midnight now, and the clock is starting to go, like I'm on over the hump. I'm over the hump. So we had the longest day of the year, and now we're on the downward slide. But that downward slide is slow. So we're feeding him at 11:30 now, not midnight, which is pretty awesome. And as I say that, I know that that's actually quite funny. That downward slope means that we're going to get back to normalcy eventually. I used to be someone who was like, oh, I love it that it's so sunny out for so long. And now I'm like, yeah, no, no, no. But at the same time, I'm like, so my going to bed, because he's eating at 11:30, his nighttime routine, which is usually not an issue because we start at 9 and I go to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock, is now 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And so it does affect my energy levels, my decision making skills, my what am I going to accomplish today? And I am left with, okay, well, it's fine. The other thing that happened the other day from it was we had with cousins who live internationally as missionaries, and they're back visiting their family, and they came to my door at 10 in the morning. And I don't have a sign on my door going, this family does not wake up or acknowledge humans until noon. That's definitely not something I want to put on my door. But I felt so bad because I came to the door because my girls have been trained since they were small. They don't open the door and they come and get me. And so dead sleep, because I went to bed at 4 or 5, dead sleep. And I came out, I had a dress on. I threw that on. I had enough presence of mind to do that. But I left this poor little lady and the cousin in my driveway getting eaten alive by mosquitoes because they're like, oh, because I looked rough. I was not awake. And yeah, they came to the door. They're like, oh, go back to bed. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, 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 no. And if I had the presence of mind, my brain was actually engaged in clicking and twirling, I would have been like, come on in. Like, just come on in, because she traveled around the world. Like, I can, it's not even like I went back to sleep. But I didn't have presence of mind. So I did call her later and apologize profusely because I was like, oh, Jamie. But at the end of the day, you can begrudge all of the stuff that you have to do that's not the typical normal thing, because you have to adjust for your child's anxiety and stress and whatever, because you want him to, you want his home to be a safe place for him. um, and that means that you, as the typically developing adult, get to adult. You get to do the hard thing because it's for their benefit. And thankfully, I recognize that this too shall pass. And I have been praying on a great deal of just asking the Lord, is there something that we can do to help him next year? Because I've been praying about it this year, but the answer was definitely, there wasn't really an answer. It was just, being patient and long suffering and using self control and giving him what he needs right now. But I am hoping that as time goes on, we'll be able to kind of go, okay, is there a way that we can transition? And maybe next year it won't be a problem. Maybe it will. So being able to adjust and go, okay, Lord, this is a child that you gave me. This is what he needs right now. Give me the energy and the space to actually do this job well, I feel is a lesson that you can take for everything our children do, even homeschool. Because there are times where you're just like, I taught you all the things, I taught you everything you need. So I hope in me telling this story and telling the hard, but also the reasons why it's not breaking me, is an encouragement to you in whatever hard thing you're going through, whatever you are struggling with, because yeah, it's not easy. No, it's not necessarily fun. And yes, I fell asleep on the couch and on sitting at the table so many times that I can't count. But at the same time, I look at it and go, it's the job, the privilege that I have to take care of a vulnerable one that the Lord has placed in my care. So, again, I don't know what you might get out of it. Tell me below. What are you getting out of my stories? And I thank you so much for watching this video and taking the time out of your busy day. Again, my prayer is that these are encouragement, and that it helps you face your hard with confidence. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.